We all remember that special feeling, right? WWE shows would kick off with massive pyro explosions, and everyone would lose their minds. Whether it was Stone Cold Steve Austin stunning Vince McMahon, or Randy Orton kissing Stephanie while Triple H was handcuffed, or John Cena sending Edge crashing through tables, The Undertaker returning from the dead, or The Rock delivering the most electrifying move in sports entertainment, there was this electricity in the air that made you drop everything you were doing and pay attention for the next 3 hours. You couldn't miss a single episode because something insane might happen, and by Tuesday morning, everyone at school or work would be talking about what went down the night before. But fast forward to today, and that magic feels gone. When Vince McMahon stepped down in 2022, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They thought the product would finally return to its glory days with Triple H in control.
I wanted to change all that.
And for a few months, it genuinely felt like the old WWE was coming back.
Riddle taking out everyone, not just Seth Rollins.
The Bloodline saga was incredible.
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy.
CM Punk was back. Cody Rhodes finished his story. And the WrestleMania 40 ending reminded us why we fell in love with this crazy sport in the first place. But then, something weird happened. WWE started losing that special feeling again.
What?
And today, it feels completely unrecognizable from the show we grew up watching. So what exactly went wrong, and why doesn't WWE feel special anymore? Let's find out together. Remember when Raw and SmackDown felt like two different shows? Raw had that iconic red setup, SmackDown rocked the blue with the signature fist, and every pay-per-view felt like entering a completely different world. Hell in a Cell had that ominous vibe around it, SummerSlam felt like an actual party, WrestleMania had those massive, elaborate stages that cost millions, and even smaller pay-per-views like No Mercy, Armageddon, or Backlash had unique sets that made you feel like you were watching something special. But somewhere along the way, WWE decided that cookie cutter was better than creativity. After switching to HD in 2008, every show started looking exactly the same. That generic LED board setup became the norm, and suddenly Raw looked like SmackDown, which looked like every other pay-per-view. And what about the special theme songs? When the glass shattered, you knew Austin was about raise some hell. When the gong hit, you knew Undertaker was going to collect some souls. Theme songs were so special that you thought the wrestlers themselves were singing it. But today, every theme song feels like a vanilla knockoff. The special stages are gone. The pyro is gone. The special trons are gone. And things just keep getting worse. Every surface in that arena is covered with sponsor logos. The ring mat looks like a NASCAR car with Prime Energy drinks plastered everywhere. The announce tables are buried under brand partnerships. The WrestleMania ramp is sponsored by some crypto company or energy drink. And instead of feeling like you're watching gods among men, it feels like you're watching a 3-hour commercial break.
Are you out of your minds?
Even the lighting has lost its magic. Everything is too bright, too clean, too corporate.
Hell in the Cell! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Gone are the days when Hell in a Cell would bathe the arena in that ominous aura that made you genuinely fear for the wrestler's safety. Now it's just another Sunday with slightly different LED patterns. The worst part? WWE keeps bragging about their production values being better than ever. Sure, the cameras are sharper and the graphics are sleeker, but they've traded soul for polish. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Look at this! He's like Mexican on! That's amazing!
Think back to the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Who has enough ruthless aggression?
You had Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock as your A-list megastars, but even without them, the entire roster was absolutely stacked. Triple H was the perfect villain. Kurt Angle was the Olympic hero you loved to hate. Chris Jericho was reinventing what it meant to be entertaining. And legends like The Undertaker and Mick Foley were putting their bodies on the line. Even the mid-card was special. You had guys like Edge, Christian, the Hardy Boys, and Eddie Guerrero, all with memorable storylines that felt important. Every single person on that roster felt like they mattered, like they had a story worth following. Then came the Ruthless Aggression Era, with that legendary OVW class of 2002. John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar all debuting within months of each other. 4 future Hall of Famers hitting the main roster simultaneously. But here's where everything went wrong.
And I failed. I messed it up.
WWE became obsessed with the one guy on top formula. For over a decade, John Cena was the guy. And instead of building multiple stars around him, they just fed everyone to him. Then, they repeated the exact same mistake with Roman Reigns. Years of force-feeding him to crowds who weren't ready. Refusing to build other credible main event talent until finally they turned him heel.
Acknowledge me.
And created the Bloodline saga. But even then, it took them nearly a decade to get it right. Now don't get me wrong, today's roster has some incredible talent. Guys like Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre are legitimately good. But that's the problem. They're just good, not great. Nobody has that special aura that screams megastar. There's no depth. There's no special connection that makes you care about everyone from top to bottom. Instead, you've got half the roster making up the numbers, while WWE relies on part-timers showing up twice a year to carry pay-per-views. But the most disappointing part is that they had it figured out briefly. Triple H's NXT proved you could build multiple stars simultaneously, where everyone from the champion down to the newest signee felt important. But somehow, he failed to translate that magic to the main roster. And it might have to do something with a certain corporate entity called TKO. Triple H had finally done it. He'd brought WWE back from the dead.
Are you ready?
The Bloodline saga was pure storytelling magic. Roman Reigns was the Thanos. The Avengers united to fight off the bad guy, with Captain America Cody Rhodes leading the charge.
Can Cody put Reigns away?
And WrestleMania 40 felt like the old WWE was truly back. Fans were invested again, the feeling was back, and for the first time in years, Monday Night Raw felt like must-see television. But then, TKO stepped in and proved they understood absolutely nothing about what makes wrestling work. The Rock situation is the perfect example of corporate interference destroying creative vision. Triple H had been building toward Cody Rhodes' coronation for months. The story was perfect. The fans were invested. Everything was clicking. But TKO executives decided they needed The Rock for mainstream appeal.
Look at that belt. You got a brand new belt. Look at that thing. Oh, that's beautiful.
And it didn't just stop there. The next year, they brought in The Rock for Elimination Chamber to turn John Cena heel and completely derailed the momentum of their own creative process.
Look at that.
And what did we get from The Rock? Nothing. He just disappeared. No explanation, no follow-up, just vanished right before WrestleMania 41. But the real gut punch came with the budget cuts. Despite WWE posting record profits and bragging about their billion-dollar Netflix deal,
I want to talk about this $5 billion Netflix deal. That's insane. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
The first thing TKO does is release stars like Braun Strowman and Dakota Kai in the name of budget cuts, all while ticket prices and VIP packages cost more than most people's houses. The message is crystal clear. TKO sees WWE as intellectual property to be monetized, not a wrestling company to be nurtured. They look at spreadsheets, not storylines. They measure engagement metrics, not emotional connections. And this is where things start to get truly disgusting. Remember when going to a WWE show was something a regular family could actually afford? Sure, good seats were expensive, but you could still take your kids to Raw or SmackDown without taking out a second mortgage. However, those days are absolutely dead and buried. Today, the tickets for SummerSlam cost $40,000. Yes, you heard that right. $40,000 for one wrestling show.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the man?
WWE is literally charging the price of a new car for front row seats and meet and greets. WrestleMania VIP packages are hitting six figures with $100,000 just to sit close to the ring. When even Randy Orton, a WWE legend who's made millions from this company, is publicly calling out ticket prices as insane, you know you've crossed a line.
Yeah, they were expensive.
What, 30,000?
Yeah, I know.
The European tour was pure exploitation. WWE knew their international fans hadn't seen live shows in years, so they priced those tickets like WrestleMania events. Fans scraped together everything they had because this was their one chance, and WWE took advantage of that loyalty. But here's what's truly insulting about all of this. Triple H gets on the microphone every single pay-per-view to brag about record gate receipts and record revenue numbers, while the product itself continues to suffer. Everything on the show exists to push a sponsor. Remember that War Raiders versus New Day match at WrestleMania 41 that nobody wanted to see? It only happened because WWE needed to promote some sponsor deal. Meanwhile, they left off a TLC match that was actually over with the fans and stuck it on SmackDown instead. They're literally booking matches based on corporate partnerships rather than what fans want to see. The most maddening part is TKO's obsession with flaunting their wealth. Every quarterly call, every interview, it's all about record profits and billion-dollar deals. But you'll never hear them talking about putting on the best wrestling show possible. They've turned WWE from a wrestling company into a content farm designed to extract maximum revenue from a fan base that's been loyal for decades. It's not about making fans happy anymore, it's about making shareholders rich. But this is not even the worst part. Remember when wrestling genuinely felt unpredictable? When you genuinely didn't know what was going to happen next? Stone Cold could stun his boss at any moment. The Rock might grab the microphone,
Steaming, stinking, smoldering pieces of monkey crap.
and absolutely destroy someone. Kane might set someone on fire, DX might spray paint a building, Jeff Hardy might jump off some crazy height, the ring might collapse. Hell, even John Cena's early Doctor of Thugonomics character had an edge that made you lean forward in your seat. The Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression Era weren't just about the violence and swearing, it was about unpredictability. But then WWE made the fatal decision to go PG, and with it, they sanitized everything that made wrestling feel special. Now, everything is polished to death. Every promo feels like it was written by a committee of corporate executives who've never been in a real fight in their lives. The worst part is how manufactured everything feels now. In the old days, if fans started chanting something WWE didn't like, that became part of the story. Now, if fans don't react the way WWE wants them to, they pipe in crowd noise or just ignore it completely. Now, everything is so controlled and sanitized that even the controversies feel fake. Even the wrestlers themselves feel all too polite and corporate friendly. Where's the attitude? Where's the rebellious spirit that made guys like Stone Cold and The Rock feel like larger-than-life characters? Everyone's worried about their brand partnerships and social media presence instead of being authentic characters that fans can believe in. The magic is gone because WWE traded authenticity for corporate approval, and you can't fake the special connection that made wrestling unique in the first place. Here's the heartbreaking truth that every wrestling fan feels but struggles to put into words. WWE is now run by people who fundamentally don't understand what made it special in the first place. For all of Vince McMahon's countless flaws, he believed in the magic of that squared circle. He understood that wrestling wasn't just entertainment, it was a sacred ritual where ordinary people could become gods for 2 hours on a Monday night. Even when WWE became corporate, even when it went public, even during the worst creative periods, Vince protected the ring itself. He knew that inside those ropes, something magical had to happen, something that couldn't be reduced to quarterly profit margins. But TKO executives see WWE as just another piece of intellectual property to be branded and monetized. They look at the ring and see advertising space. They look at championship belts and see promotional opportunities. They look at wrestlers and see brand ambassadors. This is what happens when you hand wrestling over to people who've never felt their heart race when someone's entrance music hit. These are suits who think wrestling fans are just consumers to be data mined and demographically targeted. They've never experienced that moment when 20,000 people simultaneously lost their minds when the glass shattered on a Monday night. They don't understand that wrestling isn't a product you buy. It's a feeling you can't fake. Today, WWE is making more money than ever before, posting record profits and signing billion-dollar streaming deals. But ask any longtime fan how they feel about the product, and you'll hear the same thing. Something's missing. That electricity, that unpredictability, that sense that you're watching something genuinely special. It's been traded away for engagement metrics and social media clips. Wrestling worked because it felt real, because it mattered, because fans believed in it. WWE doesn't feel special anymore because the people running it don't believe it's special. They've taken something sacred and turned it into a corporate content machine. And once you lose that connection, you can't just buy it back with money.